Ardmore City Schools have fired a former elementary teacher who was charged with child abuse over the summer. The school board dismissed Betty Planta-Lewis at the superintendent's recommendation. Planta-Lewis was arrested in June, accused of jerking two children around, pulling one child by their hair, jerking a child to their feet from a sleeping cot, and jerking a child across a table by their arm. The alleged incidents happened in March and April at Will Rogers Elementary School. Planta-Lewis is due back in court later this month.